Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. Yesterday, prosecutors released pictures of Diddy and Cassie's male freak-off workers. And I must say, I'm extremely disappointed. Cassie is a beautiful looking woman. Diddy is a billionaire. And y'all picked a bunch of 6 on 10s? Most of these male freak-off workers looked below average. Oh, hold up a second. This is Diddy we're talking about. He's not going for looks. Diddy wants that Mandingo Donkey Kong. Normally, I would have props to let y'all know what I'm talking about, but this is YouTube, not OnlyFans. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending on what time zone you're in, it's Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And to my Wednesday morningers, congratulations. We're halfway up the mountaintop. The weekend is only 2 days away. Let's get it. All right, I love Wednesdays. That's when I start getting, a little bit more energy, a little pep in my step. Wednesdays, what up? All right, settle down, Trent. All right, I have 3 lead stories. We're going to kick it off by talking about 11 inmates that escaped from a New Orleans jail. 2 have been captured and 9 are still at large. Diddy's ex-assistant testifies against him, talks about taking lie detector tests and running into Suge Knight. Cassie's mother took the stand, and she talks about Diddy blackmailing her for $20,000 for him not to leak freak-off videos between him and Cassie. Diddy is diabolical, y'all. In quick Diddy news, we're going to talk Don Richards, pics of male freak-off workers, and Diddy took pills shaped like Barack Obama. In regular quick news, we're going to talk about Donald Trump, Megan Thee Stallion, DJ Khaled, Denzel Washington, Kendrick Lamar, and Lil Durk. As always, we're going to close out the show with comments of the day, social discussion of the day, question of the day, and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, your devices up. About to start this show. Let's go. All right, you guys, I have a little bit of breaking news. Kid Cudi reportedly set to testify in Diddy's trafficking trial. Yo, I wonder how this is going to go down in the industry. Kid Cudi testifying? Yo, man. Kid Cudi snitching, y'all. Kid Cudi will take the stand this week as a witness for the prosecution in Sean Combs' trial. Combs has been accused of having Kid Cudi's car go boom amid his relationship with Cassie. Whoop, whoop. This is going to be juicy. Also, I have been hearing from some of my friends that are in the courtroom, in the actual courtroom, not the overflow room, that today the prosecution ended with a federal agent on the stand, and it was one of the federal agents that were at Diddy's Miami home when they did the raid. And I didn't put it in the show because it's just letting you know that they found GUNs, they found lube, they found this, they found that, whatever, blah, blah. But one of the things I wanted to tell you guys is that they told me that the judge cut the day because some of the jurors were falling asleep. That is not good, y'all. We have 5 more weeks of the prosecution and 2 weeks of the defense. I have been hearing that their prosecution is being a little bit redundant and they're dragging this out too long. You don't want to lose the jury. Then they're up there not listening, fading away, thinking this trial is not worth their time. They're going to get to the end and be like, well, what are you guys going to do? Not guilty. Because you don't not pay attention and then send somebody to jail for life. If you're not paying attention and you don't know what's going on, you're just more like, I don't care anymore, man. Not guilty. You're not just going to send. So this is not a good sign for the prosecution. We'll talk about it more when we have a little bit more news, but that was the breaking news. Let's go enjoy the rest of the show. Our first lead story. 11 inmates escaped from New Orleans jail. 2 have been captured and the remaining 9 are still at large. They left a message on the wall that said, "Too easy." All right, this was a little while ago. I think I just heard that they captured 2 more people, so there might be like 7 or 8 at large. But this is a crazy story. Listen to this. All right. New footage shows the inmates who escaped the New Orleans jail running out of the back of the facility and booking it across the highway, a very busy highway. Take a look at the video. All right, for what I know now, I think it's Kendall Miles was one of the guys who was captured. I don't know the name of the other person, but this is literally going wild online. Everybody's talking about it. And as you know, when things like this happen, they start to build up like a support system, and people are like rooting them on, like, yeah, don't let the man hold you down. Yo, let's help them. You can come stay at my house. Like, some women are like inviting them over, like, hey, I'm single, come and stay here. Like, or just craziness. While a lot of other people are also saying, like, hey, these guys were not in there for little misdemeanors. Like, some of them were in there for really hard crimes. Some of them were in there for unaliving people and, carrying some GUNs. Like, they're considered to be dangerous felons. So I understand the internet likes to do the internet things, but these men are on the run and will do anything not to get caught. So I would just advise with caution. Here are some pictures. Here's the first picture where they wrote on the wall, "Too easy." You'll see later in the next one here where it was behind the bath, behind the, not the bath, behind the toilet. Yeah, imagine having baths in jail. So that's the toilet the wall that they broke through, I guess. The wall, see here, it looks like it still has the bars on it. So I guess what it is that they cut off the bars and then put the bars back, because how could you like get through these small bars? Not too sure of those details yet, but apparently what I've heard preparing for the show, that some maintenance guy or somebody in the jail has just been arrested too for conspiring to maybe help them. So if I get a little bit more news on that, I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But be careful out there, who's ever out in New Orleans. There are 6 men or 9 men out there. And hey, y'all want to take them in and have fun with this, just know that that is illegal. You're harboring a fugitive. Be careful, y'all. Our second lead story. Former assistant continues testimony. I was Diddy bopping on DRUG. All right, we're going to start off with Diddy's ex-assistant, and then we're going to go over to Cassie's mom, and then also to, I think we'll end off with one of their SEX workers, the Punisher. All right, those were the 3 main people that testified today. The most explosive one is Cassie's mom. Unbelievable. But his assistant also too, or ex-assistant also too, really let us in on a lot of things. James affirmed he was required at one point to take a polygraph test. He described the lie detector process as very intimidating, with monitors on his chest, head, and hand in a room with only the administrator. James said he had no choice if he wanted to keep his job. He said it happened more than once, citing an instance when Diddy said one of his watches had been stolen. The lie detector administrator noticed at the time that James seems nervous, to which he replied he definitely was. James said other Diddy employees were also required to take polygraph tests, specifically about a heist of Diddy's jewelry. Bro, you're having your employees take lie detector tests because you think they're stealing your jewelry? This is like, it's not the movies, bro. And I'm sure it wasn't administered, or I'm about to say it wasn't administered in a company way, like in a company setting. I don't even know if you can administer that in a company setting legally. Like, just telling you, man, Diddy is crazy. Anyways, there's a little bit more to that, but I wanted to jump to this next thing. Diddy's ex-assistant describes armed run-in with Suge Knight. James was asked about a 2008 incident at Mel's Diner, a restaurant in LA, involving former rap mogul Suge Knight. James described driving a Lincoln Navigator SUV to get cheeseburgers accompanied by a man named D-Rock. James testified D-Rock recognized Suge Knight at the location and went over to talk, but Knight apparently didn't recognize D-Rock, who said, "I'm Biggie's boy," referring to the slain rapper Notorious B.I.G. James says that when they noticed 4 black SUVs on different sides of the parking lot, and he said he saw someone hand Knight a GUN, D-Rock suggested they leave, and they did. He says they drove back to Diddy's house where he saw Cassie crying, and Diddy got into a different vehicle with James. James testified that he saw 3 GUNs on Diddy's lap when they drove back to Mel's Diner, but Suge Knight was gone. But Diddy ordered them to drive around the block. James testified he was shaken up by the incident and decided to leave the company at that point. He said he declined other offered positions, saying he didn't feel safe. Now, keep in mind, guys, okay, this is not a movie. This is not, like some fantasy. This is real life. Like, you make an application to be someone's personal assistant. You don't employ somebody to be driving around with you with 3 GUNs and looking for Suge Knight. Like, that's not in the job description of a personal assistant. This is why Diddy is on trial for RICO. You are hired to be an employee of Bad Boy Records and or Sean John Enterprises. You have to be doing work-related jobs, not driving around in SUVs looking for Suge Knight. Like, Diddy is crazy. Now, D-Rock is a little different. D-Rock is Biggie's boy. He's security. You could slide away with that. You guys know each other from back in the day. This is somebody who you just hired to be your assistant. Like, I just don't understand why Diddy thought he can get away with these things. But like I told you guys yesterday, I just come to the realization that Diddy's been rich and famous and untouchable for so long. He just got to a point where he felt like the law didn't apply to him. Like, he didn't operate the same way that a regular person operates in this world. That's the only explanation for everything that I'm going to tell you every day. Now, it might seem surprising, but when you put it through the filter of somebody who just doesn't think the law applies to them and thinks they're above everybody, you'll understand why he feels like he can get through life like this. It's crazy. Anyways, there's a couple of other things I snagged. On Monday, James testified about Diddy's 5 girlfriends, including Cassie and Kim Porter. He claimed he once overheard a conversation in which Diddy called Cassie young and moldable. David James recalled a strange incident in Miami in 2008, which included Diddy, Cassie, and another man. James testified that he walked into a hotel room to drop off an iPod at Diddy's request. Once inside the room, James testified he saw Cassie laying on the hotel bed on her back while a man scurried away. He noticed the shower was on and assumed Diddy was in there. James was asked to describe the other person, and he said he was around 5'8" with long hair and a large endowment. He scurried away. I'm laughing, but this is not funny, yo. Like, this is your assistant. Again, it's not your homeboy. It's not your homegirl. This is not your, you know what I mean? Like, this is somebody who you're paying as an assistant. And by the way, this man only made $70,000 a year. And Diddy is having him see these things, just come drop off my iPad at my hotel, which is, now this is a thing a personal assistant would do. Your personal assistant to a celebrity, you got to bring, their iPad around. You have to, drop her off books, or you have to do this or whatever. iPad, that's music. Someone's in the studio. You don't have them open the hotel room and see your girlfriend on the bed on her back with, somebody who's well endowed. Anyways, the last thing about Mr. David James. Diddy allegedly kept videos of assistant Diddy bopping on DRUG as blackmail just in case. On the seventh day of Diddy's federal trial, his former assistant David James testified that Diddy kept video of him partying on DRUG and Ciroc, something James called Diddy bopping. He said Diddy told him that he would keep the footage of him dancing in case he needed it, which James took as a threat to embarrass him later. James also said that he used to stock Diddy's Louis Vuitton bag with DRUGs, all bought with his own money before being reimbursed, which, okay, that's fine. Companies can do that. You buy this, pay for this, and we'll reimburse you. But not DRUG, not things that are illegal. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, give me your receipt for your gas money. Give me your receipt for whatever it is that you're buying for me. Submit your receipts. We'll cut you a check. We'll send you a money order. We'll do something. You can't have your assistant going out and buy you DRUG with his own money, with his own cash. You're having your assistant commit a crime. This is what is going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, do you hear that? Like, multiple crimes throughout the day is what Diddy's assistant is doing. This is grounds for RICO. Are you running a criminal organization with Bad Boy Entertainment? While he never saw Diddy put his hands on Cassie, he recalled being sent to drop off food to her hotel room after putting hands on her, rumors surfaced. But at this time, somebody else answered the door, not Cassie, who usually did. So that's just testimony just from his ex-assistant. Just imagine the next 5 more weeks that are coming, y'all. But anyways, like I said, stay tuned for Cassie's mom because it's next level. Let's go there next. Our third lead story. Cassie's mom testifies she took out a loan and wired $20,000 to Diddy after he threatened to release an SEX tape over singer Cassie's relationship with Kid Cudi. On the 7th day of Sean Diddy Combs' ongoing federal trial, Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura, testified that she wired $20,000 to Combs out of fear of her daughter's safety after he allegedly threatened to release an explicit SEX tape of her. Ventura said the situation unfolded in December 2011. Around the same time, her daughter emailed her warning that Combs was threatening to expose 2 SEX tapes and have somebody harm her and rapper Kid Cudi, who Cassie was seeing at the time. According to her mother, Cassie sent the email under an alias, Victoria Bang. That's such a weird alias, but okay. To send an email to your mother, Victoria Bang? That sounds like a dancer's name. And even included one of Combs' employees on the message. So she sent an email to her mom under an alias of Victoria Bang and CC'd one of Diddy's employees on the email thread, okay? And said, Mom, yo, Diddy is threatening to do this, etc., etc. He's going to put out tapes of me because I've been dating Kid Cudi. The email went on and said, the threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit SEX tapes of me, the email read, according to Ventura's testimony. One on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, or another sometime soon after that. He has also said that he will be having somebody hurt me and Kid Cudi physically. Regina Ventura told the court she felt physically sick reading the message. She said Combs had also contacted her directly around that time, claiming he needed $20,000 to recoup money that he spent on Cassie and expressed anger that she was now in a relationship with somebody else. Feeling threatened, Ventura said she and her husband took out a home equity loan to gather the money. Combs' bookkeeper reportedly sent wire information, and Ventura wired the money from their joint account to Bad Boy's business account. I was scared about my daughter's safety, she testified. Roughly 4 or 5 days later, Ventura said the money was returned to her account, though there was no follow-up or explanation from Combs. This testimony further supports early claims made by Cassie and federal prosecutors about a pattern of threats and coercive behavior. Combs has declined all allegations. Bruh, what do you do? Yo, this guy It's crazy. Yo, imagine as a parent, you get an email from your daughter under the alias of Victoria Bang, like, yo, mom, blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. Anyways, so, theories out there are of the fact that, because I'm sure most of you might be thinking, why does he want $20,000 from the parents? And it was because Cassie was back in Connecticut at her parents' house, and he didn't think that they would come up with the $20,000, and they were hoping, or he was hoping, that Cassie would come running back to him instead of them sending the $20,000. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Maybe there's something more to it. We don't know, because Diddy's lawyers didn't cross-examine Victoria. No, not Victoria. What's the mom's name again? Regina. They didn't cross-examine Regina. This is the first witness that they haven't cross-examined. And that can only mean one thing. You don't cross-examine a witness because you're so embarrassed. You just want the jury to move on. And also, it would just look horrible, the fact that you're cross-examining victim one's mom. You know what I mean? It's her mother. You know what I mean? Like, just crazy. The one thing that I would love to have heard during cross-examination, because we didn't get this from the prosecutors, is she actually had Cassie's email. That's what she was reading. So that was the email from Victoria Bang. But I would have liked to have seen the proof and the information of wire me this to this bank account. I would have loved to have seen the proof of the wire. I would have liked to have seen the email that did he send, or how did he send this thread. I would love to have seen that, because what I said to you guys a couple of days ago is the prosecution doesn't have the grand slam home run, or else there wouldn't be a trial. Diddy would have to plead guilty. And what do I mean by grand slam home run? They don't have a text message or any proof of 100% undeniable coercion. Cassie, if you don't do this freak off in Miami, I will put out this videotape, or I will do this. That would be sex trafficking under force, fraud, or coercion. All that we have right now, and from what I've been told, all we are going to get is testimony. And here's Cassie's mom, not necessarily testifying with coercion of sex trafficking, but now we have proof, again, testimony proof of Diddy saying he's going to use these videos to get what he wants. But again, nobody seems to have any text messages, emails, a handwritten note, something, video. You even heard from the assistant saying, yo, he told me that he was going to keep videos of me dancing around to embarrass me. How did Diddy say this to you? On what? Was it a text message? He whispered, I guess he's just whispering into people's ears. Like, we're here saying that Diddy's crazy, but I guess he has enough smarts, if you want to call it that, to not get himself tripped up. And that's why he is in the situation where he has some sort of defense saying, hey, the prosecution has lined up all these witnesses to tell all these lies on me. Cassie said the only time that he actually said that out directly to her was on a flight, I think coming home from Miami in 2016 or 2018, where he showed her a video and said, if you don't do this freak off, then I'm going to expose you tonight. We will never see an email of that. And we just got to hope that the jurors believe all of these people on the stand. Now, you got to just know that the jurors know that all of these people who are testifying get to practice their testimony with the prosecution, right? They come in there, they take a statement, and the prosecution works with them on their testimony. So that they're lawyers. So they're all lined up, they're all this or whatever. All it takes is for one juror to be like, I don't believe this assistant that was, maybe coerced to. Oh, this is another thing I want to tell you guys. This was the first time that the defense asked the prosecution, one of the prosecution's witness, did you get anything from the prosecution for your testimony? And he didn't say that he got immunity, but he said that he got something. I don't remember the exact name. Sorry, I should have written it down. But It was somebody who was in a courtroom that told me he got something for working with the prosecution because he committed crimes too. He said, yo, I bought DRUG, which is illegal. So without incriminating yourself, you need immunity, or there's another word, there's another thing. So I say all of that to say there still could be one juror or all the jurors that say, hey, this is just a conspiracy, or this is something the prosecution is giving people to put them up to say these things. So it will just be very unfortunate. I guess the last thing I will say before we go on to the next thing is if you believe everything that the prosecution is putting on, which if you ask me, I think they're doing an amazing job. I feel like they're very believable. Cassie's mom was very believable. I know people are saying, oh, Dawn, she got tripped up. Like, it's hard to remember everything over the 5 or 10 years. You gave 8 testimonies. You forgot to say this. Cassie forgot to say that. There's obviously going to be little holes, but the prosecution is doing a pretty good job. All right. I think we are all in accordance with that. And we know that Diddy is guilty. I just want to remind you guys of something that I said to you before this trial started. And now you guys seeing more and more evidence, you'll know that what I was saying to you was true. Diddy's team knows how guilty he is. They know the evidence, and they know the testimony, and they know the prosecution are going to get Diddy in jail. And the only way that Diddy is going to beat this case is through a mistrial or an appeal. He knows that. I told you that as inside information before this trial started that somebody told me. And now you could see how apparent it is. Like, there's nobody out there that doesn't think Diddy is guilty. Yes, there's pundits and there's people and their lawyers that are saying, oh, they're going to have a hard time proving RICO. And yes, this, and there's holes in that, or whatever. There's nobody that unequivocally is like, this is a total wash and Diddy is not guilty of anything. Diddy knows that he's guilty, A, and B, he knows that the only way that he could beat this case is through a mistrial or an appeal. That is why at every turn in this trial, it's, oh, objection. We don't want to let this testimony in. We don't want to let the CNN video in. We strike to have Dawn testimony in there. You shouldn't allow it because she has a civil suit. She's saying this, she's saying that. We don't want, like, every single thing. We want an extra a delay for 6 weeks. Remember that 6 to 8 weeks before the trial started. Diddy is only trying to beat this trial through a mistrial or an appeal because he knows how guilty he is. It's ridiculous, but that's what having 8 lawyers, the best lawyers in the world, can do for you. They can get you off of cases with mistrial and appeals. If the prosecution makes one mistake, it's done. Anyways, let's go on to the next story. All right, this brings us to quick Diddy news. Ring my bell. Our first quick Diddy story. Erotic male dancer The Punisher recalls a first night with Diddy, Cassie. There was baby oil, Astroglide, and wigs. All right, let me just jump right into this and show y'all a picture of The Punisher, because as you can tell from the first picture that his face wasn't really all that. But I don't know, ladies, y'all tell me. Yo, all right. Anyways, an exotic male dancer known as The Punisher, I have fun saying his name, The Punisher, is testifying for the prosecution in the Diddy trial, telling the jury about the first encounter he had with Diddy and Cassie, saying the couple hired him to create a erotic scene for them. The male dancer says he was first hired in 2012 when a woman called and booked him for a midnight gig at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. He says he was hired to perform a little dance for a group of people, but when he got to the room, he says it was just Cassie in a robe with a wig. He testified he went down to his towel and followed Cassie's lead and mimicked what she did, pouring baby oil on himself until he says Diddy entered the room with a bottle of Astroguide lubricant in his hand. He told the jury Diddy would give Cassie subtle directions, namely lighting adjustments and body positions, and then Diddy and Cassie eventually went off by themselves into another room. He says Cassie later came back and asked him if he wanted to finish, but he said he declined, and then Cassie paid him an additional $1,200. He says he was hired around 8 or 12 times, and he didn't recognize Cassie or Diddy at first because Cassie had a wig and Diddy wore a head covering that only exposed his eyes. He said on subsequent encounters, he came into the hotel suite and noticed a message displaying on the TV saying the Exodus House would like to welcome Sean Combs. He testified he was a fan of Diddy and followed the mogul on social media. And after seeing the TV message, he recognized Cassie from Instagram photos with Diddy, and it all clicked. Now, the reason why this witness is a little bit interesting, except for the fact that he's the Punisher, the fact that this happened in New York, this is actually not SEX trafficking from a federal standpoint. Remember, it has to be trafficking, meaning that you have to cross state lines. So this happened in New York where Diddy is a resident. So, I mean, look, it's really just adding to the fact of, Diddy and Cassie, did all these freaky things. And this is just another person they're putting into the mix, I guess. Some people are kind of dragging their prosecution of like, why was he needed? And remember, I think I told you guys yesterday, the prosecution has to be careful not to keep being redundant and look like you're just embarrassing Diddy and trying to make him a fool. You need to be putting people on the stand that speak to the actual charges: racketeering, SEX trafficking through force, fraud, and coercion. And the third one is SEX trafficking, which we already know Diddy's guilty of already. That count has already been proven from the jump, right? But like I told you guys, that charge is the lesser of the charge. It's like a year in jail. If that was the only thing that he gets found guilty for, he'll get out and get time served. Kind of like what happened to Thug. There were some things he pled guilty for, but he was in there for 2.5 years, time served. So that one charge, has he done SEX trafficking of just, women and men for SEX? Yes, that's done. He definitely transported them across state lines. Diddy will admit to that right now. Okay, fine. But it's the force, fraud, and coercion and the racketeering. This witness doesn't really pertain to that, and it's a little bit redundant. Prosecution has to tread lightly. They're not here to embarrass Diddy. We are, though. Definitely I am. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our second quick Diddy story. Woman harassing Don Richard asks about Diddy's size, his P size. How big is Diddy's D? I want to get hands put on me for $10 million. They're just badgering Dawn as she came out the courtroom. Take a look.
Have a good day.
Yeah, how big is Diddy's dick?
That's whoa.
Wow. I get the 10 million.
Now, man. Monetization. You're going too far. Yeah, man.
Now, two sides to look at this. One, you could feel sorry for Dawn. She's obviously gone through a hard time, traumatic. It can't be easy, the light that's put on her, and it can't be easy to testify and go through everything that she's going through. The other side is Dawn filed a civil suit. This is public. She couldn't file under a Jane Doe, and questions like this and badgering is what is going to come when you put yourself in this kind of situation. Are those people rude for asking asking those questions? Of course they are. It's ridiculous, but these are people in the public, and this is the results of filing civil suits. And some people are going to look at her like she's just doing this for money. Why didn't you file a criminal suit? And don't forget, Dawn is really more about work environment, this, etc., right? She's not really like in a Cassie situation where she was in love in a relationship with him. So she's going to get dragged a little, but this is what comes with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Our third quick story. All right, I really want the ladies to weigh in here. Prosecutors reveal images of the SEX workers that took part in the Diddy and Cassie freak-off. All right, I'm going to just jump right in here and put these pictures up. Tony, you look whack. Greg, you look whack. All right, Jake is not bad. He kind of looks like he is in a Calvin Klein like photo shoot, but still I wouldn't think this was Diddy's type, you know? Johnny, man. Jules, unidentified. Okay, little Tyson Bedford vibe kind of going on. The other unidentified with the longish hair. Nah. The guy in the corner with that weird goatee, unidentified, with like the orange hair guy. He looks like that singer there. Who's that slow guy? Anyways, this other guy with the hat backwards. What is going on in here, bruh? All right, let's get back to the first ones over here. Brian, no. We all know about Jonathan Audie. Ash. Anyways, we all know that Diddy is not hiring these guys for their looks, you know? Mr. Tootsie Roll needs to make up for things that he's missing. So he's got to hire the real things so that, you know, his girls could get the real thing. It's really pathetic, bro. Damn. Our fourth quick Diddy story. Diddy took DRUGs every day, including former President Barack Obama shaped pills. That's what his ex-assistant said. I have a picture for you guys. Who is making pills in the shape of Barack Obama? Yo, man. All jokes aside, I am shocked. Like, I knew that Diddy took his DRUGs. I've heard about that for years. I didn't think it was on this level, man. Like, this guy was a functioning, like, what the heck, man? We hear some of these testimonies, like, this was every day. This guy was waking up, lunch, dinner, sleep, like popping every day, day in, day out. The powder stuff, the pill stuff, this is crazy. Anyways, man, I can't believe Barack Obama had to get wrapped up in this. Let me know what you think about Diddy and his addictions in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Our first quick story. Donald Trump speaks on Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis again. I'm surprised that the public wasn't notified a long time ago. I knew this was going to get ugly, man. I knew it from the first day when I put it there in breaking news. I was like, we're going to get a tidal wave of just ugly politics, man. I feel really bad for Joe. Anyways, look, y'all know me, man. You gotta see things from both sides all the time. One, this definitely does give political advantage to the Republicans. They've been saying for years, if not definitely the past year, hey, is Joe all right? Is he healthy? Can he really stand up and be the president of the United States of America? Cognitively, we all saw what happened in the debates. Countless amount of stage speeches where he was walking in a different direction, falling down, etc., etc. And now it comes out where he has a cancer that spread to his bones, and it's, although it's manageable, it's progressed very, very quickly. You know, did we know? Like, should we have known about this? I think he has a point. Although I don't like the way that he's talking about it and the way he's saying it, but should the American people have been told this? Should he have been running again? If he thought that Kamala Harris could have ran and become president, then if he was not well, why not give up his presidency and give it to Kamala Harris? A year ago, he said when he was first running, I'm going to be a transition president. He was supposed to be setting up for Kamala Harris. If you're sick and you're not well, why not release your power and give it to Kamala Harris a year ago or a year and a half ago? He has a point, although just the way that it's coming across and he's saying it, it's not great, but this is Donald Trump. Anyways, take a listen to the video. And by the way, he says stage 9, and there's no such thing as stage 9 cancer. Here it is.
Do you want to respond to President Biden being diagnosed with cancer? Are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time.
Our second quick story. Megan Thee Stallion defends herself following Tory Lanez legal teams holding a press conference. Why the F would me, Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie on this MF about pow-powing me? All right, got to be careful here on on YouTube, so we're gonna say pow-powing for the rest, but y'all know what I'm talking about, all right? And this statement has a lot of swear words too, so I'll still get it across. At what point are y'all going to stop making me have to relive being pow-powed by Tory? At what point are Tory and y'all fans going to stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? 1 minute him and y'all said I was never pow-pow. Now y'all letting him play in your face again and saying I was pow-powed, but it wasn't him. Okay, I'm sick of this ish. Leave me the F alone. He ain't dare get on the stand and deny he pow-powed me, and that was his choice because he knows he did pow-pow me. I don't give an F about what a blog or a bot say. Why the F would me, Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie about this MFer about pow-powing me? How y'all mad at the person that got pow-powed? Facts are facts. He did it, and it was proven in court. F the hate campaign on the internet. Tory, you pow-powed me. Ain't no new effing evidence. Y'all been saying the same ish for years. Tory, please leave me alone. I'm off this silly internet ish. Bye. It's so annoying to read things like that. It's that much pow pow and ish and F and this. Anyways. So look, I'll give you guys both sides of this story. Megan has a point in this statement. She has a very good point in this statement. The internet has been saying Megan never got pow-powed. She stepped on glass. Came up in court that there was actually fragments from her getting pow-powed, but everybody was saying, oh, it's glass, it's glass, it's glass. There's actually video. I even played it for you guys where you can hear her stepping on glass. But her point is, hold on a second. Y'all are just out here just being against me. Sometimes it's, oh, she was never pow-powed. It was just glass. But now that a driver that was driving around her best friend, Kelsey, now he is saying, actually, I overheard Kelsey admitting that she was actually the one that pow-powed Megan. Now all of y'all want to accept that I was pow-powed. So somebody admits to it. Okay, cool. Oh, yes, now she was pow-powed. That kind of doesn't really make much sense. You got to stay on one side of the fence or another. But now on the flip side, Megan is saying, why would I lie? And there's a video of Megan lying, and it's making its rounds again. I'll play it for you. Take a look.
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
Yes, I lied to Gayle King.
She came out literally on her Amazon series and was like, yes, I lied to Gayle King. Now, why she would do that, I have no idea, because it's not like somebody caught her in the lie. She's like, yeah, by the way, I did lie. We all didn't believe her anyways, but she just came out. But I guess maybe it was the pressure of it because nobody believed that she wasn't with Tory. And that's what made a lot of people not believe her. If you even remember, 50 Cent was like, yo, we know that you and Tory were together. Y'all weren't even hiding it. And now you want to go on Gayle King and say that you didn't? I don't believe you. That's where she lost a lot of people. Then 50 Cent apologized after the court hearing. And we heard a lot of testimony. We heard the video recording of Tory from jail calling the next day, apologizing to her, and then 50 Cent had to come back and apologize. I wonder what 50 Cent feels now with this new quote-unquote evidence. Anyways, for those of you who don't remember, here is the press conference from Tory Lanez that started and reignited all of this. We played it for you guys last week, but I'll play a little small clip for you here again. Take a listen.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she f***ed it 3 times.
We shall see. We shall see. When I was covering this case, what is it, 2 years ago now, I've broken down the elements of the case and what Tory Lanez was exactly charged for. And if you see what his actual charges are, you'll see why it's not only Megan being powed, it's a bunch of other things that he was also charged for that he's going to have to stay in jail for anyways. But we'll get to that when the time comes. There's an appeal. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our third quick story, talking about Tory Lanez. Rep. Anna Luna claims the evidence they have for Tory Lanez will be released in 36 hours. Those who rush to call for his incarceration should be prepared to be held accountable. Now, Anna sounds serious, y'all. She wrote, "We have compelling evidence providing Tory Lanez is innocent, and it will be released within the next 36 hours. For those who rush to call for his incarceration, and worse yet, push false evidence, should be prepared to be held accountable." That was today. Yesterday, she put out, "I'm calling on Governor Newsom, the governor of California, to review Tory Lanez's case and issue a pardon. His 10-year sentence was based on false evidence, political pressure, and prosecutorial bias. Justice must be blind, not driven by headlines. Free Tory." So Tory Lanez got some people in the government on his side. I've been telling you guys, even before this Diddy trial started, Diddy trial, then we're going to Tory Lanez's trial. This is going to be big. Obviously not as big as Diddy. Tory Lanez is not as big as a celebrity, but still going to be big. A lot of people are saying that Tory's going to get out. We shall see. And y'all know I got Tory Lanez connections, right? So don't worry. I'll keep you guys looped in. Our fourth quick story. The 7 guys that are still on the run. Let's do a Vlad TV interview. Vlad tweets out to the remaining 7 Louisiana prisoners that are still fugitives. All right, so remember I told you at the beginning of the show that there might be a few more captured? Well, that was quick because now there's only 7 left. And Vlad wants to do an interview for them. Vlad tweeted out and said, "For the 7 guys that are still on the run, let's do a Vlad TV interview. You'll eventually get caught anyways, but doing the interview will give you legend status. I won't report you after the interview. My First Amendment right as a journalist gives me the right to do the interview. DM me or email evan@vladtv.com. Here is a picture of the 10 fugitives and the 3 that have gotten captured. I like in the text where he goes, yo, you're going to get captured anyways, man. Might as well get like some legendary status. And you know Vlad pays for interviews too, man. You can get a couple of G's, but then your commissary, boom, you're good. Our fourth quick story. Denzel Washington gets into confrontation after being grabbed by a photographer. Denzel Washington had a few words for a photographer at the Cannes Film Festival who touched his arms. Denzel isn't the only celeb who found himself in this position, though. In the last few years, actresses and notable Kelly Rowlands were spotted giving Cannes staff the business due to their behavior as well. Here is a video. Take a look. All right, there's no audio, so we just put some music so that, you know, we could fill the air. So look, like the article said, Kelly Rowland, and there's been past people who have had issues. 2 of my entertainment lawyers are actually out there right now, and I called them, and I was like, "What's up with Cannes, man?" And he said to me that that's just how they are out there. They just have this kind of like attitude, like they feel like the Cannes Film Festival, that like the celebrity should be honored to be there, where some other festivals, it's more like the other way around. Like the festival is so honored to have these big names. Do you understand like that dynamic? So they feel because it's Cannes, like they could just treat celebrities however they want to. But yo, they're celebs. They're used to be getting treated a certain way. And how about this? They're human beings. They should not be treated like that, just grabbing their arm or whatever. So I love that Kelly Rowland's told that guy off last year, and Denzel is acting like this too. So whatever. Shout out to everybody who's over at in Cannes. I wish I could be there with y'all, but yeah, we may have some projects that one of my lawyers are working on out there. Hey, yes, but I have to be here, focused, doing the Diddy trial. But just know I'm working. All right. Shout out to everybody over in Cannes, man. Our fifth quick story. History. Kendrick Lamar now holds the longest #1 hit by any rapper this decade with Luther. Kendrick Lamar and SZA's smash hit Luther has spent 13 consecutive weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. This extends the song's record and historical run as the longest #1 hit in the year 2020 decade by a rapper. Congratulations to Kendrick and SZA. All right, this is amazing for them. Their concert is still going on. They're still breaking records. Like, shout out to Kendrick. Luther, I don't know what's going to knock off Luther, man. Like, Luther is one of those songs that's like, you hear it, it's good. And like, the more you hear it, it's already starting to sound like a classic. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but you know, when you hear a classic, you're like, oh, yo, it's my joint, man. It's almost like you haven't heard it in so long and you could go back and it just brings memories. That's what we love about music, right? Because music marks time. That's why when classics will always be classics, right? It will always remind you of high school, it reminds you of your girlfriend, reminds you of this or whatever. And that's what's so good about Luther. It just brings you back to a time, but it's able to do that while it's still being a new song. So that's why it's #1 and it's lasting so long. It's crazy. Anyways, shout out to SZA and Kendrick. Oops, that was our 6th quick story. I said it was our 5th quick story. Sorry, Kendrick. Our 7th quick story. Lil Durk gets another chance at freedom after a judge approved a June 2nd court hearing to review his 3rd bail offer, now up to $2.7 million. According to court documents, Lil Durk's 3rd trial package is set for review on June 2nd after a judge approved this hearing. Durk is now offering up $1 million in cash, $1 million from his record label, and $700,000 worth of property. I'm a little surprised at this, to be honest with you. I would feel like Durk could come up with a little bit more cash than that. The things that he is accused of, you got to come up with a lot more money than that, Durk. Like, you got friends, you could reach out to people, like, just to put it in context, Diddy offered $50 million, 24-hour security, ankle monitor. He won't be on a phone. He won't be on a computer. He'll be locked down, whatever, and he was denied. And just look at what Diddy is being accused of, and then look at what Durk is being accused of. Now, I'm not saying Durk's going to have to come up with 50 mil, but, bro, you got to come up with a little bit more than $1 million and $1 million. That's it? $700,000 worth of property? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, y'all, it is time for my favorite segment, Comments of the Day. One day I'm going to really hold that like as long as possible. I just don't want to frighten y'all, I just imagine y'all at your house being like, what is this guy yelling at? Like, not for the people who are watching, but for the people who are like in your house being like, who is this guy yelling? Why are you watching this crazy person? Anyways, it's Trent Out Loud, all right? Okay, before we start comments, I have a very, very, very important question to ask you guys. Are you ready? Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Well, let me answer that question for you, especially to the new people who are in the room because they just heard me yelling. Yes, your phone, laptop, and computer are definitely vulnerable if you're not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform. Go to my sponsor below, aura.com/TrentOutLoud to get a free 14-day trial to see if any of your data has already been exposed. If you're ever wondering why scammers or how scammers get your phone number or why your inbox is flooded with spam, this is why. There are companies called data brokers that sell your data. They do it without your consent. They make billions of dollars selling it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. That is why I recommend today's sponsors to my family, friends, and out louders. Aura takes care of the hard part for you, automatically removing your info off of these sites and keeping it off. Aura is an all-in-one digital security platform. Some of you may already have digital security tools, but not having Aura on your computer is like having your front door locked, but keeping your back door open. Now, I joke around with this, but y'all know I do really, really, really love this company, my daily watchers. Y'all know I tell you every day, go to Aura. They're actually really amazing, all right? With Aura, you get your personal information removed off of the dark web. You'll get real-time fraud alerts for your credit card and banking, a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and they have around-the-clock US-based support system if you require any help. If in the event that anything should ever happen, Aura also offers you a 5 million, not 5,000, not 50, not 100,000, $5 million identity theft insurance protection. Okay. Now, with my link below, you will get a 14-day free trial, free, Free. It is free to sign up. Okay. Listen to what you get with that free sign up. Aura will go through your devices. They will check all your information to see if any of your information, your social security number, credit cards, banking, anything, any of your information is on the dark web. And they're not just going to find that for you and be like, oh, yeah, it's out there. No, they'll find it, they'll remove it and clean it up. And then you could decide if you want to continue with them or not. They're basically, with this link below, they're basically doing the work for you for free just to show you how good they are. It's like a painter coming in your house saying, yo, I'm a great painter. Let me paint the first floor and let me show you what I'm doing. Sign up and thank me later, all right? All right, shout out to Aura. Next thing, we're going to get right to the comments. The first comment is from Anna. Illinois here. Thanks for all the Diddy updates. Well, you're welcome, Anna. Enjoy the show daily, and thanks for that Saturday update listening while doing chores. Shout out to all the out louders. All right, thank you very much, Anna, for that. Love that you're loving the Diddy updates. Just wanted to throw it in here because you mentioned about my my Friday night, Saturday episode, which I said I would promise I would do. Just want to put something in here quickly in case I can't get done. I don't know if I'm going to get this Friday's as early as I did, or if I'm going to get into it, be able to do it. I have a little bit of traveling to do Thursday, Friday, so I'm not too sure. Friday's episode is probably going to be a little mix. It's probably going to be in here and a little on the road, and I might have to do all Fridays on the road. So just stay tuned. I'm trying to work around it. I will eventually get it to you, but the timing might be a little bit off, okay? And if Friday is boring, then I'm just not going to do it. But I said that to you guys last time. I'm only going to do the Friday, Saturdays if it was important. And that was Cassie cross-examination. It was good stuff, okay? Anyways, glad you enjoyed it. Grandma Ronell said, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hi, Trent. It's Grandma Ronell from Maryland, DMV area. What up, DMV? Love your podcast. I am a proud out louder. Question. Some YouTube platforms has says that and Sheila E. have testified in the Diddy case. Is this true? You didn't tell us this, so I'm questioning it. Is it fake news? Well, Grandma Ronell, it is 100% fake news. I have told you guys every single person that has testified. I will not miss one person that has testified. Sheila E. and Monique have not testified. Sheila E. was, I'm not mistaken, one of the names that, remember we had that list of 190 celebrity names, and she was in a civil case with somebody who said that they have an underground tunnel from Diddy's house to Sheila E.'s house. And remember, it was a guy that said that he woke up and Beyonce and Jay-Z was there, but then they brought him around from a tunnel from Sheila E.'s house to Diddy's house. That's a civil case. You don't even know if that's true. It might have already been dropped. But to answer your question, no, they have not testified. I definitely would have told you guys that. And also, while we're on the subject, I actually spoke to Megan today, a trial journalist, Megan McCuffin. You guys know her. She helps me a lot with, the Diddy case, the Tony Busby and Tory. She's going to be super helpful with me with Tory. And she has grown a little frustrated at some YouTubers, not going to say who out there, but there's a lot of people giving misinformation out there so that they can get clicks and that so they could grow their channels. Not throwing shade on nobody. You guys know I'm always supportive of all my content creators, but just be careful and take it with a grain of salt and make sure that you are watching and listening to videos from reputable people that know what they're talking about and not just putting salacious things out there for views and clicks, okay? Just be careful. Next one is a three-parter. Dana said, yeah, Diddy's done. I like that. Next one is Nancy. Did I say Dana or Donna? I just want to make sure I pronounce it right. Dana, who said, hey, Diddy done. Thanks, Dana. Next one is Nancy. Trent, I love your show and look forward to listening to you every morning. Nancy from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Thanks, Nancy. You know, it was conceived out in Florida, so I'm a Floridian. You know what I'm saying? I'm your homie. Next one is from my homegirl, Roberta. Your carousel of comments as viewers watch or listen to you is hilarious. What? She said that? Thank you, Roberta. I'm glad I'm out here making you laugh. Hey, Roberta is like, watches every episode, comments all the time. I haven't read a Roberta comment in a long time. Shout out to Roberta. That's my homie. And for real, love is the greatest gift of all. All right, that was I think 2 days ago or yesterday's social discussion of the day. And totally agree. Gifts, holidays, birthdays, what have you. Love is the greatest gift of all. Thank you guys very much for commenting. We wish we could read all of them or get to reading all of them out to you guys, but we got a show to do. Just know that we try to look and read all of them, and we appreciate you commenting. Also, once again, thanks to Aura. Oh, I didn't even put up the QR code. Here is the QR code for Aura. Take out your phones, point it at the screen. Don't forget to turn on your camera, and take you. It will take you to that link. Sign up for free. Also, I forgot this yesterday too. For those of you who don't know Aura or know how big they are, they used to be the badge logo for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's a picture of Ant Edwards, and here is a picture of Karl Anthony Towns. Make sure you sign up. They are the leaders, the biggest all-in-one digital security platform. Shout out to Aura for sponsoring and taking care of the Out Louders. All right, this brings us to social discussion of the day. Claressa Shields says she doesn't have SEX or has a release from SEX 6 weeks before a fight. I have to save it up for the fight. Take a listen, and I'll let you know the question of the day.
You have superstitions? Superstition? Yeah. Listen, I don't have sex 6 weeks before the fight.
Okay.
And that's a big thing. People be like, yo, but it's like every boyfriend I've had has known, like, hey, my dog, do not touch me 6 weeks before the fight.
All right, social discussion of the day is not so much around SEX, because she was more saying that the fact that she's a fighter and she doesn't want to, get rid of her energy. She wants to stay focused. But the underlying, I think what's in there, what she's trying to say, because really 6 weeks out, I mean, how much energy do you need to save? I mean, that's crazy. But I think what she's really trying to say is she just wants to focus in. And she's saying that all of her boyfriends, they got to understand and they got to support her in knowing, look, I have something to do. And when we do these things, it distracts me and I need to get focused in. And there was a time I wasn't in a relationship then, but there was a time when I was starting my store and I wanted to be super, 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 super locked in. I was modeling. I know I haven't given you guys the question yet, but let me set it up. Hey, this is where I can get as chatty as I want to, okay? In this segment. I was modeling and I was acting and things weren't going how I wanted it to go. And I was like, look, man, like, I want to get a house. I want to have investments. I want to start getting, those things that I wanted that acting and modeling weren't bringing me. And I had an opportunity to open stores and start my own business. And to do that, I had to cut a lot of people off and really just focus in and really get really dialed in. And I feel like not everybody was supportive when I was doing that. I won't get into who, but my question is whether it's a partner that you're with SEX or anything intimate or whatever, should you be supportive when you're a friend or a boyfriend or a family member and that person needs to get locked in? And for those of you who have never done that, I'm telling you, when you cut off all of those extracurricular things, trust me, you could get laser focused on doing whatever you need to do. And you need to do that when you're making a major change in your life. The people on the receiving end of that they lose that access to you for that time. If they're not understanding, should you leave those people? How it looks like Claressa, she's saying, yo, my boyfriend's just got to deal with this. And it looks to me like if they're not down, they could get hiked. They could get kicked to the curb. Like if you're not ready to support her and go through those sacrifices with her, then you're out. The person that is losing out on the access, should they stay and be understanding and be supportive to that person? And vice versa, should you feel comfortable enough with your family, friends, or loved ones to cut off access to yourself when you are looking to better yourself and when you're looking to do something that you want to do? Some people look and it's like, well, it's my birthday, it's my graduation, or it's this or whatever, and they don't understand that you need to get locked in. Let me know what you think about people not willing and not being there for you while you're making sacrifices to better yourself. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to question of the day. All right, this is a fun one. That was just a serious topic. Now we'll have fun. I feel like the last 2 days questions of the day has been a little bit serious. Anyways, hey, let's confuse the younger generation. Sears, keep it going. All right, the first person put beepers, really good. Sizzlers, okay, you got me there. 8-track tapes, okay, I only know because my dad had 8-track tapes. You would have lost me on that, but my father had 8 tracks, and he also had a reel-to-reel, which is a reel-to-reel 8-track? No, I think an 8-track is different from a reel-to-reel. Anyways, I don't know. Somebody said employment. That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Somebody put a picture of some game. Got me there. Teen night at Empire Roller Skating Rink. Okay, that must be in some town. Somebody said the box. Encyclopedias. I just know because my dad used to sell encyclopedias and he had encyclopedias at his house. But I get how somebody who may be like a teenager might be like, encyclopedia? What are you talking about? I don't know what I did before Google. Like, I Google everything. Could you imagine having to go to an encyclopedia every time you want to try find information, and how dated that information must be? It was like printed like once a year. My gosh. Somebody said good music. Hilarious. Landline with call waiting. That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, that is still technically out now, so that shouldn't really lose anybody. But I don't understand people that still have landlines. Like, why do you have a landline? You know you got a cell phone. You know you got a cell phone. So why do you have I don't understand why people have landlines. It's the most ridiculous thing to me. Alexander's department store. Got me there. Hi-Fi. Save On. Woolworths. I just know that because I think my grandmother used to talk about Woolworths. Morals and etiquette. Funny. Okay, the Nokia phone. We all know that from Drizzy. My phone. Why did I forget no, I was just singing that this weekend. Anyways, baby girl. Let me see you twirl. Baby girl. It's the only part you gotta remember. Baby girl. Let me see you dance. Let me see you twirl. Anyways, layaway. It's true, layaway. LimeWire, Avon, Respecting Elders, Radio Shack, Yellow Pages, Encyclopedias, Blockbuster. That's a good one. Hometown buffets. They still have buffets. Payless. That's not that long ago, but yeah, maybe some little young teenagers, I guess. Blockbuster, Radio Shack, Dollar World. Anyways, I'm not going to read too many more because I want to leave some for you guys. Kmart, that's a good one. All right, give me. It doesn't have to be one word. It could be a phrase, something that, I don't know, a younger generation to look and be like, what are y'all talking about? Let me know in the comment section below. I told you guys this one would be fun. Let me know. All right, this brings us to sports news. I would be remiss not to talk about the game tonight, or depending if you guys are seeing this Wednesday morning, then you already know what happened. But let's talk about it. Minnesota versus OKC. I feel like, well, yesterday we talked about who's going to win overall. I told you guys I was going for Minnesota, but I think OKC is going to win. Who do I think is going to take game one? I think OKC takes game one. I feel like they're both at the same position. It's not like one had a bunch of days off or whatever. I feel like they both had the even amount of time. They both had an even amount of time? Yeah, because Timberwolves had an easy series, and OKC, gosh, I forgot already who did OKC beat to who did OKC beat to get here? Gosh, we talked about it every day and I forgot. Who in the West? I don't even remember. Jeez, I'm gonna have to check. Hold on. Who did OKC beat? Oh, yes, Denver. How could I forget Denver, the team I hated the most? Yeah, all right, so OKC had a harder time because they went to game 7. So I think OKC is going to win because they're tuned up, where Minnesota, they had an easy last 3 games, so they're going to be a little bit fresh. A lot of people feel when you're fresh, it's better. I don't agree with that. I feel like it's better when your offense and your defense are humming and they're ready to go. You know what I mean? So anyways, I think first game is going to be taken by OKC. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, y'all, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for kicking it with me. I thought we had a great Diddy update. I'm still not over Diddy and Cassie's mom. Crazy. And the Punisher. Anyways, let me know what y'all thought of the show below. Thanks again to Aura. Thanks once again to Aura. For those who did not click, make sure y'all click the link below and sign up for free. They'll go through all your stuff, all your devices, and make sure that everything is okay and that you're secure. If you ever have any weird spam phone calls, you get spam emails, you're worried about anything, Aura could take care of it for you for free, and then it's up to you if you want to continue for 14 days. All right, I'll put up the QR code once again. Thank you very much to Aura. I do not go online without them. All right, for those of you who are on YouTube, actually, hold on. Before I let you go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For those of you who are used to watching the show on YouTube, let me remind you the ways that you could watch the show if you ever have to go on a flight or if you're ever going in the car. We are available on all podcast platforms. You could just go and download the show and take us with you, all right? Just go to any podcast site, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And just like on YouTube, we upload daily, all right? So make sure you stay here on YouTube. Just if you're ever going away somewhere you need to download a show, go to podcast platform. Now, vice versa, for those of you who are used to listening on podcast platforms, none wrong with that. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the downloads. However, I would suggest you come over to YouTube and watch the show over here because it is lit. The Out Louders, the comment section, and just the video over here is just a much better viewing experience. Trust me, come and check us out over here, okay? Head on over to YouTube, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Gives you entrance into the Out Loud family. Hit that like button because we got to get the algorithming. Most important, please comment below. This is a show where I talk to you guys about what's going on, what's viral, and I need your feedback. If not, I'm just talking to myself. So please comment in the comment section below and let me know where you're from. I'd like to know what state, what country, what continent you're from, right? This is a global podcast, and I like to know. If you don't feel like jumping in on a conversation, that's fine too. Not everyone's into that stuff, but just let me know, hey, Trent, I'm watching from this place, enjoying the show, not liking the show, something like that. All right. For those of you who are really enjoying the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones, because that definitely helps in growing the channel. For those of you who want to follow me outside of the show, I'm available on all social platforms, most active on Instagram, however, available on all. It's always the same handle, whether it be Snapchat, what's the other one? TikTok, Instagram, whatever. It's Trent Out Loud on all of them. I'm the most active on Instagram. We've also started a blog page on Instagram, and that handle is Formally Out Loud, FORMALLY Out Loud. There that we'll put some stories before we even get to doing the show. We only record one today, so if you guys want to get some advanced news before we even start our show, we post it up there. We put the extended versions of videos, things that we can't put out here for copyright reasons or there's swear words or whatever, we put it out on there, right? So you can follow that blog page, Formally Out Loud. Thank you very much for kicking with me. I will see you tomorrow. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!